My sister treated her like a stranger at a birthday party and claimed she wasn't family. Now, we're cutting off my sister while our daughter is struggling. I'm 36 and have been lurking here for a while, but now it's my turn to share my story. I've been married to my wife for 10 years, and we have a 6-year-old son. While we're grateful to have a healthy and amazing son, we've always wanted a daughter. We hoped for a baby girl in our second pregnancy, but my wife developed a medical condition affecting her uterus. The doctor gave us the sad news that she couldn't conceive again. We were shattered because we really wanted a baby girl. Our son was even excited about having a little sister. My wife, being an only child, understood the loneliness of it and didn't want our son to experience the same. With my wife's medical condition, we had no choice but to consider adoption. When I suggested it, my wife and son were thrilled at the idea of finally having a baby girl. However, the adoption process, especially for baby girls, is daunting with many government checkpoints for the baby's safety. After 2 years of interviews and meetings, we got a call about a 3-year-old girl available for adoption. I won't go into details about her parents, just that she came from a troubled family, and CPS rescued her. We were over the moon and hugged each other with happy tears. It felt like a miracle that she was 3 years younger than our son, just as we had hoped. The next day we went to pick up our daughter. We were nervous but equally excited. The caregiver gave us details about her family history and other necessary information. We then went to the nursery where she was sitting alone, hiding her face with a doll. The attendant advised us not to force her to talk or pick her up without permission, as she was shy and needed time to get comfortable with strangers. My son went near her and started playing with other toys. Slowly she peeked from behind the doll and smiled. That first meeting was surreal, and she was the perfect little girl. Gradually she got comfortable with our son and played with him, while my wife and I watched with tears in our eyes. This was the picture we had been dreaming of for years. Our son held her hand and brought her to us, and we both hugged her. It was the best moment of our lives. We took her home, and our family was complete. I was driving with my wife beside me and our 2 children playing in the back seat. It was the most emotional day of our lives. Although we love our son as much as our daughter, she needed extra care and love to overcome her past. We did everything to make her comfortable at our house. She took her time to call us mom and dad, and our son helped her adjust. Gradually, we introduced her to our extended family and friends. Kiki is shy, so we were mindful of how we introduced her to family members, taking one step and one family at a time. We first introduced her to my wife's parents, who were as excited as we were to have her in our lives. She quickly got close to them. They are very kind and loving grandparents to both our children. Sadly, I can't say the same for my parents. I grew up in a troubled household where mom and dad parted ways as soon as we became adults. They had their differences for a long time but stayed together until we grew up. I have 2 brothers and a sister. Since our parents were emotionally unavailable, we siblings watched out for each other and were close. My sister, being the only girl, enjoyed most of the love from her 3 brothers. She has an adorable daughter, while my elder brother has 3 boys, and the younger one has 2 boys. Until my daughter came, my sister's daughter was the most beloved child in the family, being the only girl among cousin brothers. While my brothers have always had my back, my sister is a little nosy and has to involve herself in everyone's business. When I told my siblings about our adoption decision, my brothers were super supportive and excited to welcome another baby girl into the family. But my sister wasn't. She questioned why we needed another girl in the family when we had her daughter. She didn't understand that playing with her daughter wouldn't fill the gap for my son wanting a sibling. She was against the adoption, saying God knows whose blood we are bringing home. She believes blood is thicker than water, unlike my brothers. So we introduced Kiki to them first, and they adored her. Kiki is still getting comfortable with her uncles and aunts, but played with her cousins from the first meeting. We go on family trips together every few months, but since Kiki came into our lives, we haven't taken any trips to avoid overwhelming her. My wife and I are now wondering whether we should introduce Kiki to my sister. Given her views on adoption and her tendency to say insensitive things, we fear she might say something that could hurt Kiki's self-esteem. If we don't let my sister meet Kiki, it means cutting her off from our lives, which I don't want. I'm really at a loss about what to do. Update 1. Thanks everyone for sharing your experiences. My wife and I discussed it and decided to give it a try. I called my sister and asked if she was available the following weekend. She said yes. We went to her place with our children. Her husband was sweet to Kiki, but my sister was upset that we introduced Kiki to my brothers first. She's used to getting special treatment from all of us. We explained that we were limiting Kiki's interaction with new people to avoid overwhelming her. My sister rolled her eyes and said we were making a big deal about it, but then she hugged Kiki and introduced herself as her aunt. Kiki seemed uncomfortable and unusually quiet, insisting that we leave soon. My son took her to play with my niece, but Kiki wasn't keen on playing with her. I don't know what happened, but my son said the girls didn't get along well. In contrast, she enjoyed playing with her cousins at my brother's place. We left my sister's place early. 2 months later, my sister organized a birthday party for her daughter. Her birthdays have always been grand since she was the only girl in this generation until Kiki came into our lives. As usual, we brought gifts for my niece. At the party, my sister wasn't very cheerful around Kiki. During the cake cutting, she called all the nephews, including my son, to stand beside her daughter but didn't call Kiki. I thought she missed it, so I placed Kiki beside my niece. My sister quickly took Kiki and handed her back to me, saying she looked stressed in front of the crowd. We thought she was being protective. After the cake cutting, I asked my daughter to play with my niece, but she resisted. My niece told me her mom had said not to play with Kiki because she's not her cousin, just adopted. My brother-in-law scolded her for being mean, and my wife stopped him to avoid ruining the party. We were hurt by my sister's behavior but tried to stay calm. However, we lost it when she discriminated between Kiki and the other children. She gave big return gifts to all the nephews, including my son, and a small box to Kiki. Kiki noticed the difference and started crying, feeling unloved. My sister asked my wife to control Kiki, which made my wife more upset. We decided to leave, despite my brother's efforts to calm us down. My sister accused us of creating a scene and ruining her daughter's birthday. I told her we were leaving because she treated my daughter poorly. My sister called Kiki filth and not part of the family. My wife started crying and everyone looked at us. My sister yelled, saying we were ruining her reputation. My elder brother intervened, defending Kiki as part of the family. My younger brother also supported us. Feeling defeated, my sister cried, claiming we were ganging up on her. We left after that. The incident affected Kiki, making her lose her self-esteem and retreat back into her shell. My brother-in-law apologized for not intervening earlier. We decided to cut off my sister to safeguard Kiki's well-being. Update 2. Thanks for checking on Kiki. She's doing much better, making friends in the neighborhood, and attending a play school where she receives counseling for her mental health. We've had no contact with my sister since the incident. My brothers and their wives have also reduced contact with her. Update 3. Thank you for your continued support and understanding. Many of you suggested various ways to deal with my sister and protect Kiki's well-being, which has been invaluable. After our family vacation, we started to see significant improvements in Kiki's confidence and overall happiness. She became more involved in school activities and started to open up to her teachers and classmates. Her teachers have been incredibly supportive, aware of her background, and have provided her with the additional attention she needs. Kiki's therapist has also been a tremendous help. She has weekly sessions where she works through her feelings and builds coping mechanisms for dealing with her past trauma. We're seeing her become more resilient and self-assured every day. However, the issue with my sister is far from over. Despite cutting her off, she has continued to stir trouble. She has been spreading rumors about us to the extended family, claiming we have abandoned her and are favoring our daughter over her. This has led to a few uncomfortable conversations with relatives who are misinformed about the situation. We decided it was time to address the rumors directly. We held a family meeting at our house, inviting all our close relatives except my sister. We explained the entire situation, from our decision to adopt Kiki to the birthday party incident, and the resulting fallout. My wife and I were honest about our reasons for cutting off my sister, emphasizing that our priority is to protect our daughter from any harm, whether physical or emotional. Most of the family understood and supported our decision, but a few, influenced by my sister's words, were skeptical. One particularly vocal relative, my aunt, accused us of overreacting and claimed that my sister's behavior was a result of her feeling replaced and sidelined. She argued that we should have been more considerate of my sister's feelings. This led to a heated discussion, with my brother standing up for us and reiterating that my sister's behavior was inexcusable. Eventually, my aunt relented, but it was clear she still had reservations. Despite this, we felt relieved that the majority of our family supported us. It was a difficult but necessary step to ensure that everyone knew the truth and understood our actions. Update 4. Months have passed, and our family has settled into a new routine without my sister's presence. Kiki is flourishing in her new environment, showing remarkable progress both academically and socially. She's made a best friend at school, a sweet girl named Emily, who often comes over for playdates. Seeing Kiki happy and engaged with her friends has been incredibly heartwarming for us. We've also started a family tradition of weekly game nights. It's a time for us to bond, laugh, and create joyful memories together. Kiki particularly loves playing board games and has even started to win some, much to her delight and our amusement. However, not all is smooth sailing. Recently, my sister attempted to reach out to our parents, trying to enlist their help in reconciling with us. My parents, who have been supportive of our decision, were initially unsure of how to handle the situation. They want to see their children united but understand our need to protect Kiki. They invited us over to discuss the matter, and we had a long conversation about boundaries and the conditions under which we might consider allowing my sister back into our lives. We made it clear that any reconciliation would require a sincere apology from my sister and a genuine change in her attitude towards Kiki. My parents agreed and said they would convey this to my sister. A few days later, my sister called me. It was the first time we had spoken since the birthday party incident. She was crying and apologized for her behavior, claiming she didn't realize the extent of the harm she had caused. She begged for another chance to make things right,